Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard at Richard on the MakeCode Forum.
Joe at J Wonder on the MakeCode Forum.
And today we're back to working on our tunneling terrain game. So if you haven't been joining us for this, I started playing a while ago Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I have now 100%ed. And I wanted to make a game in arcade that had destructible terrain, because that's kind of what that game's all about. And we started by just doing the physics, but then we kind of decided that what was really fun was tunneling. And so we wanted to turn this into some sort of tunneling mining game. So far we've done the tunneling, where you can see we're like creating tunnels here. And we have the physics that works such that we have like okay, it's like really hard because, All right, our physics basically treats the entire background as an image, and you can't move into any of the pixels. So you can jump on all of them. However, because right now the tunnels that we make are so incredibly ragged, it makes it really hard to like navigate all of your tunnels. Mm-hmm. So we need to figure out something to do for this. You know, the way you tunnel also is you have this pickaxe, and if you click while moving the pickaxe, you basically just like dig out these tunnels, which is very silly but fun. So I think what we're going to be doing today is we need to do some work to make this. I guess we have a little choose your own adventure here. We have two kind of things we can work on today. One is just making this tunneling better, such that like one of the things that I thought would be really fun is like a game that encourages you to go back through the tunnels you've made, right? So like in Minecraft, one thing I always liked to do back when I played Minecraft, which was like in the alpha days, was I would like discover a new mine, and then I would build like a little rail network that would take me to that mine. And then whenever I needed more stuff, I would go to the mine some stuff, take my little rail network back. And it was very satisfying to set all of that up. And so like, I think it would be really fun to make this such that you're kind of building your own little infrastructure as you go. And you have to like carry the stuff that you get like back up to the surface, right? So it would give you like a reason to kind of like, optimize your mines somewhat so that you can get back up. One thing we can do today is we can work on making this tunneling a little bit better so that we are not quite as ragged, so that we have tunnels that are, easier to navigate through. Because right now you have to be really careful if you don't want to just make a super, messed up tunnel like what I'm doing right now. But if you go like real slow, you can make some nice ones.
Nice. Let's see. So, high wolf. Maybe something like Spelunky rope could be cool. That's a good approach to making it.
Yeah, we talked about that. So for those who haven't played Spelunky, the idea is like you have a rope that you can launch upwards, and then when it hits the ceiling, it causes a rope to drop down, and then you've basically created a ladder for yourself. So you can climb up that thing to get like back up these like tall distances. I think that's a good idea, but we still kind of have to have like a smooth tunnel before we can do that. Though I'm doing a good job at climbing up on this one. Nice, I did it. So that's a good idea. Alternatively, the other thing we can work on is like starting to actually put stuff in these mines. So we've done some procedural generation for generating this landscape. It might not look randomly generated, but it is. The waves that you get in between the layers of terrain are actually randomly generated, and if you go back up, they'll all still be there. So one thing we're going to do is we definitely want to be like collecting the goods or supplies of some kind. And so, making it so we can actually put those things into the chunks is, I think, another big thing we want to do. So I guess I'm leaning more towards doing tunneling stuff today. What do you think, Joey?
Tunneling stuff does sound fun to make it you know, that's the core of the game. So getting that nailed down feels better.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just try some random stuff. So right now, let's look at where we're doing our tunneling. So this is inside of our on mouse move function right here. So we have is the left button pressed, and then has the pickaxe moved more than 0.1 radians angle wise. So if you go really, really slowly, you'll see you don't dig anything. But if you're actually moving it, then like, you know, you're digging stuff.
Yeah.
And the way that we're digging is we call this dig in direction function. And let's grab that guy. All right, the longest block in the world. Okay, so what is this dig in direction doing? Basically, we are drawing a rectangle that extends outwards from our guy, just in the angle that the pickaxe is pointing. So to make this really obvious, let's go ahead and make it super long. So right now we have it have a length of 10. Let's just make this 100. There you go. And now you can kind of get an idea of what's going on there. All right. So we're drawing these rectangles that extend outwards, and that's like what we're mining. And so to make things a little bit smoother, I guess we have some options. So one is we could abandon this silly pickaxe thing we've got going, but I think it's kind of fun, so I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is we could try changing the shape of what we're mining, or we could just make it so that we mine more than what we're currently doing, you know? So not super long like this, but maybe if we like widened it a bit. If you take bigger chunks, it's going to be smoother just by default, you know? So there you go. Or you're going to at least have more room to go through it. So that's actually already much better, but still could probably do with a little bit more tweaking. There you go. All right, so let's try making it even a little bit bigger. We're going to go to, let's do 15 by 15. So these numbers I'm messing with, by the way, are the width and length of the rectangle that we were carving. So there we go. Okay, whoa, this is like power pickaxe here. So this does make, you know, very nice navigable tunnels for sure, right? Like, you know, you can get back up through these, which is the goal. It's actually good that they have ragged edges, because if they didn't have ragged edges, like, you would never be able to get over this stuff.
Yeah, we basically need to immediately do the Spelunky rope plus some.
Yeah. But you can also like dig up like this. But yeah, okay, all right. This makes you dig a little too fast, though. I think you can just kind of rock it down to the center of the earth. So I don't know what can we do to make this not so rocket propelled. I guess we could make it so that you dig like.
So when we were originally doing it, how I had envisioned it, I guess, was that like it's the dig happens when you stop. So like you swing it, and then you have to like move your mouse back and swing it again, but you have to like stop in between. So this arc is different than how I imagined the pickaxe working. That's why.
Okay, all right. So the idea is that you wouldn't be able to hold the pickaxe, more or less. Like,
yeah, like you could hold down the button in theory, but it would be like you have to swipe and then stop for a moment, and the stop is what hits. Is what
I think what it could be is like we give you a timer, so when you press down the button, you have like 100 milliseconds in which you can dig, and then it stops, so you have to lift up again. Let's try that and see what it feels like. I think that'll kind of accomplish the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and make a mouse down time. And we will set our mouse downtime to be equal to whatever the time is when this left mouse button is pressed. Now, inside here, we're going to go ahead and say if the current time minus the mouse downtime is less than 500, I don't know, then do it. So, okay, that's like as far as you can. That's too long. 100. Right, swoop, whoop, 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 whoop. This is tough to use. Okay, this is no good. Okay, so maybe we should do it when you release, but it's kind of weird when you release because it's like you would imagine it doing the area that you've already swiped over, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to remember that. Maybe we should get rid of this angle difference checking. Well, that definitely makes it more like controllable. It still feels a little weird, but perhaps I'm just coming at this as someone who is used to doing it the other way. And you can still zoom down here.
Yeah.
Unsigned Arduino says, what if you just dig less area but at full speed? So we did that before, and the problem was the tunnels that you make are really narrow. So you can't go back through them, right? The bigger thing here is better because you can actually jump back up through them like this, which is good. But when we did the smaller one, let's just go ahead and see what that looks like now. So originally we had it at 10, 5. And let's get rid of this time checking. Then you can really, zoom on down here. And this does feel like a much more reasonable rate. But like, try to get back up through these tunnels. Like, it ain't happening. So I'm legitimately trying to get up through that little narrow part right now, and I cannot do it.
Yeah. Actually, a challenge.
Yes, and we have infinite jumping even. There we go. I can kind of do it if I do that. All right. Okay. All right, so what if we did something? Here's another radical idea. What if we made it so that we do the digging like this, but we smooth it afterwards?
I don't hate it.
I don't really know what that... Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know how we would begin to do that. But
we have to set a route and just smooth it out.
I mean, I guess that is what we would basically just like record where we were coming from and then kind of like widen it, like the route that you travel. So the idea is that you can only move as fast as our current level of mining allows you. But you end up digging more than that, like after the fact. That makes sense. The other option we could do is we could just limit the amount you can mine downwards. Let's see. Answer to says, what if you can only dig while touching the ground? So if you dig underneath, you fall for some time. Okay, that's an interesting idea. Let's try that. So we don't really have a thing stored right now of if we're touching the ground or not. So we're going to have to do that in our physics. So let's go ahead and collapse blocks, format code. We're going to grab our physics. So if you remember, this game uses a custom physics engine little thing that we just implemented inside of this big on-game update.
Yeah.
And right now we have this where we're clearing our y velocity right here. So that is when we are hitting the ground. I don't think we actually are checking right now if we hit the ground like from above or below, because we just clear the velocity either way.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Okay, well, we can just say, is dy greater than 0? And if it is, then we know we're on the ground. Right, that's easy. Boolean right here. Okay, we're going to say on ground 2. And we're going to go ahead and set on ground to be false up here. All right, give me one of these guys. All right, so we're going to set false here. Then inside here, we're going to set on ground to be dy is greater than 0. We need to do that before we clear d0, obviously. It means dy to 0. If dy is greater than 0, and then do the same thing right here. All right. Okay, so we should now know if we're on the ground or not. Actually, I think we need to do something a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to set right here. So it's possible that we set dy to be 0 right here, and then we overlap the bottom chunk, and then it'll get cleared because we set dy to 0. So if we happen to be overlapping both chunks at the same time. See, is that possible? It might be possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and just better safe than sorry. We're going to put in an OR here, and we're just going to OR this with, whatever it is, because it got cleared to false up here. So if it's to true, that means it was on ground here, and we want it to be on ground here as well.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Okay. So I want to be able to see when we're on ground. So inside of, well, we'll just do it at the bottom of this on-game update. We're going to go ahead and say, if we are on ground, make this be my sprite. Then we are going to set the background to a different color. Flashing lights warning, flashing lights warning. All right, there's going to be some flickering here, so I apologize, but it's kind of the easiest way to see this. All right, so if it's pink, we're on the ground. So there we go, we're on ground. And, if I jump up, we're not on ground anymore. So we can see that, indeed, as we dig downwards, there are brief moments when we're not on ground anymore. They don't actually last very long, but it does work. There's also like weird little glitches, but let's not worry about that. I mean, that's just, I think, an artifact of our physics.
Yeah, being a little off.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go into our on left mouse. Nope, not that one. On mouse move. And we're going to check, are we on ground? All right, stick that in here. And it definitely slows you down. That's for sure. Do get into some weird spots here. Seems like our on ground gets cleared when we're moving horizontally. So we might have to look into that. Because like right now, you see, I can't do anything. As soon as I stop moving, it works. Why is that? Let's see. So change X, change Y. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, we're going to put this in here, and then we're going to take this on ground and move it out of this loop. Clear it up here. So what was happening was we were moving farther in the X direction than the Y direction. So even though we were getting bumped out, after like the first pixel, but then we continued to move in the X direction. And so we like ended up just clearing it again as we moved to the next X pixel, even though we had done the Y pixel.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So this definitely slows you down quite a bit. So let's try this with our greater size. So we're going to go back to the 15 by 15. See what we get here. Yeah, nice wide tunnel. Much, much slower.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing we could also do is just that you can't do it while you're moving left or right either. Right? So that you can't do this.
Yeah.
So then you would have to kind of like boop, 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 which is more like the actual thing we're going for. Oh, the button's stuck on.
Actual mining. Yeah. I like that idea, I think.
I also feel like I want to make it so that if you're mining horizontally, you don't go downwards like this. Like
Yeah,
when you're
go
mining
downwards.
horizontally, you just want it to
like keep a fixed
like elevation.
elevation. Yeah.
Right? Because right now the thing makes it so that if you're not really careful, you just start immediately doing, you know, this.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the on ground thing in effect.
Yeah.
So we might, for our digging, actually do some different logic based off of whatever the angle is, right? So let's see that. Also, these, while I like the greater size, that's really nice. The very clear rectangular nature of it is a little silly, right? Like you get these big squares that are carved out. Let's turn off our flashing lights also.
Yeah.
All right. The thing is, I really like flashing lights in games, which is why it's a bummer, you know, that you can't include them all the time. But I mean, obviously, it's way better than the alternative. So
Yes.
you should not put a bunch of flashing lights in your games. But okay, even if it's a cool visual effect. All right, so we want to lock the thing so that we can mine horizontally more easily. So let's grab our digging direction. We're going to go to here. And we're going to mess with the stuff based off of the angle. So the angle right now is the angle from our guy, right? So if we just quickly review how angles work in Arcade, because, you know, Y is down, which is the opposite of what it normally is in math class. 0 degrees is to the right here. Straight down is 90 degrees. To the left is 180. To the top is 270.
Yeah.
So we want to basically limit our horizontal digging as long as the angle is between, like, I would say 45 degrees and 135 degrees. I'm sorry, if it's outside that range. So if it's in this upper part, then limit it so you're not digging below yourself. And then put the digging just in that bottom 90-degree wedge.
I don't know why I'm having a hard time visualizing this, but I think it sounded like that was making sense.
I'll draw it real quick.
Thank
You're
you.
having a hard time visualizing it. Other people probably are. Okay. So here's our dude. Here are the angles I'm talking about. So we're doing, this is 45 degrees. This is 135 degrees.
Yeah. Just the
And
arc below it.
the idea is that as we're digging downwards, if we are inside this arc, we let you dig downwards. Otherwise, if we are inside, this much bigger arc, then we will basically cut it off at the ground line like this, right? So we'll let you dig, but only above this.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're straight down, then that means you actually want to go downwards. That's the idea.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do that. We're going to grab our angle. And the first thing we want to do is this angle is, I don't know what the range of this angle is. One day I'm going to learn what the range of A tan 2 is. Okay, so the way we're going to fix this is we're going to take this angle and we're going to convert it into degrees, radians to degrees. We're going to add 360 to this, which, remember, 360 is all the way around. So if we add 360 to something that is an angle, we just get the same angle. It's just because it wraps around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to mod it with 360. And so I don't know what the range of A tan 2 is. I think it's like negative 180 to 180.
It probably is. That sounds right.
Right. And so assuming that's correct, if we have negative 180, we add 360 to it, and then we mod it by 360, we get 180, which is what we want. And then, yeah, you get the idea. Yeah. So that is the correct kind of range. So this will let us make sure that our angle is within a nice thing. You can obviously do this with radians as well, but it's just easier to think in degrees. So
yeah. You don't think of everything as just pi over 2 radians?
No, I don't.
Messed up. Yeah.
I know. It's a failing on my part. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put our temp number in there. And we're going to say if, remember, our lower bound is going to be 45 degrees and our upper bound is 90 degrees. So let's go ahead and put in an OR here. And we will say if temp number is greater than 135 or less than 45, then we want to do a dig that cuts off the bottom. Otherwise, we want to do exactly what we've been doing, which is letting you dig downwards. Okay. So let's talk about how we're going to dig such that we cut off the bottom. Let's see. So I guess all we have to do, this is actually easier than I thought. We do the exact same thing, except for all of these y's, we max them with whatever the bottom is, right?
These y's we max them with it. Okay, yeah, that's easy enough.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we're gonna have to do some weird geometry stuff, but no, actually, that's all you have to do.
Just works.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and max these with our dig y plus, I don't know how much, but let's just max it with dig y right now, and we'll see how this does. We're gonna want to add something. So I guess we can go ahead and put in the plus, because we're gonna have to copy and paste it all over the place if we don't. So we'll go ahead and put in a plus. The plus that we have to put in, by the way, is the distance from the center of our guy to his feet. So
yes,
we'll have to figure out what that is, but for now, we're good. So go ahead and put this in here. Oh, wait. I always forget to copy and paste before I do this. So see, I need 4 of these. I've already done 1, so actually I just need 3. Okay. There we go. Next one's over here. And here's the last one. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and, whoa, that did something weird. Did I reset the values to like a reasonable value in the dig? 15, 15. Okay. And yeah, wait, what happened here? If tip number is greater than 135 or tip number is less than 45. Oh, forgot to put the angle in there. Okay, well, that didn't work. What's going on here? Oh, we want this to be min. I don't think that's going to fix this issue, but. All right. What's weird is obviously like when I'm digging down here, it should be doing the exact same thing as before. So like, what did I mess up? Oh, this dig half width variable is what I messed up. I don't know how I pulled that out. This should be this. Yeah, there it is, right there. This should be width divided by 2.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Okay, that's back to normal. And now over here, there we go. We can see that as long as I'm like over here, I'm only digging horizontally, but obviously it's making so I cannot run because of, like I said, there's that offset between where the dig Y that we're passing in is and where the feet of our guy. And it looks like it's 3 pixels.
Gotcha.
So let's go ahead and make this dig Y plus 3. And do this 4 times. There we go. Dig on down over here, and now let's try to dig horizontally. I almost like want to make this even more narrow a range because I keep accidentally doing it.
Yes.
Let's make it more narrow. We are going to make this be, let's see, so we want to make this number lower.
So 125 and 35 maybe? Just
sure, let's try that.
Kind of arbitrary at this point. We're just testing basically.
55. So this one should be lower, this one should be higher.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely working better. It does look a little bit too perfect, right? I don't really know what to do about that, except we could like add 1 or something. Like just randomly.
A little bit of like a little bit of a cut to it. It wouldn't make sense.
Just like add a random int between 1 and 2 to all of these.
That's probably good. Maybe you take out a rock and it's just a chunk.
There we go, pick random. That's what I'm looking for. Make it 0 to 2. Make this 3. And we're going to paste this 4 times. And then we want to go there. Go there. Go there. All right. There you go. So it's a little bit rougher, but it's definitely flatter than it was before. You're still kind of going downwards because we did do plus. So we could change this to be -2 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm not going to copy and paste that all over the place. We're just going to go ahead and. There we go. I definitely missed one of them. This one. All right. I gotta say, it's like awkward to do this digging, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely way more controllable than it was before, don't get me wrong. I think this is a good change. But it does mean that it feels a little bit weirder.
Mm-hmm. It kind of feels like you're just using two different actions entirely.
Let me.
I mean, you are, right? But...
There you go. Give this a shot, Joey. Tell me what you think.
Okay, I'll post it.
Yeah, people in chat also, if you want to try this out and let me know what you think, please do.
Okay. Open this up.
So reminder, you move your mouse and then you have to hold down the left button to mine.
I think I like it. I see the weirdness a little bit, but
yeah, I think it's
it kind of feels like about how I want it.
It does. It like it's definitely usable, but it's just a little weird. But I think I agree it's a good change. Okay. Let's do something else I've been meaning to do, which is we need to make it so that when you like mine, I want like chunks of ground to fly. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like little bits of dirt should like fall. Be kind of hard to do because the chunks of dirt should presumably be the same color as the dirt and they will be falling over the dirt. But let's give it a shot.
I think at all times you have two different colors of dirt on the screen, right? So
you have to what?
At all times we have two colors of dirt on the screen, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't partially see it.
You're right. It'll go over something that's not the same color. You know what? Let's save this for later. Let's do some more core gameplay stuff first. So let's try to do this Spelunky rope idea. All right. So this is going to be tough for a number of reasons. But what we want to do is we want to make it so that we'll put this on like an on A button pressed right now. We want to basically launch a projectile upwards. We want that projectile to move straight upwards until it hits something. And then we want to draw a rope going down from that point back to wherever it was launched from. All right. So the first part's easy enough. We're going to go into our on A button press. We're going to create a projectile of some kind. Let's go ahead and... Well, I think I probably already have a temp sprite. I might not actually. We don't have that many sprites in this game. Okay, yeah, make a new one. Temp sprite. And we're going to make this look like a spike, basically. We should make it an odd width. go. That. And give it a little rocket flare. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust the width of this guy. So this is 5 pixels wide, and the height is, I'm gonna say 7. Nope, it was 8. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and make this kind projectile. Oh, right. Projectile already exists. There we go. All right. We're going to, for this guy, we're going to set its position to be the same as our sprite's position. So go ahead and set temp sprites X to our my sprite X and temp sprite Y to my sprite Y. All right. And we want this guy to travel upwards. We're not actually going to set any velocity on this, though, because we're doing our own physics. We're going to do this over here. All right. So now if I press A, there we go, our little rocket guy. So we want this to move upwards at a constant rate, and we want it to detect when we hit it. But I think we need to be really careful with our hit detection here. Like, because our tunnels are so, like, ragged and uneven, we want it to, like, I feel like we want the overlap for this guy to really just be, like, the center pixel.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the center pixel, like the center 3 pixels. So let's go into here. We're going to go ahead and loop over our sprites of kind projectile. Where is that block? I can never find it. Here it is. All right. Go ahead and make this projectile. And we are going to first move this up. So we're going to set our distance equal to whatever our speed is going to be. We're just going to have it be arbitrarily 200 times our dt. So I think we already have like a delta time that we have up here somewhere. Yeah, we do. Cool. So we're going to grab, whoops, create get, go in here, make this dt. Okay. So this is going to give us our distance. And just like before, we are going to move up 1 pixel at a time. So we're going to go ahead and do a while, and we're going to do distance is greater than 0. And we are going to change our projectile y by -1, and then we're going to change our distance by -1. And this will move us upwards. And so we should already see it rocket off right now. So I'm going to go ahead and press A, and there we go. Shoots right up. All right. We want to also, so right now we're always changing it by -1. We want to actually do a max of, let's see, or rather we want to do a, yes, max of -1 and negative distance. Okay, why are we doing this? Well, eventually our distance is going to, if our distance is a fraction of a pixel, say it's like half a pixel, then we only want to move up half a pixel, right? We don't want to move up a full pixel. So we want to by doing this max thing, we're doing a max of -1 and negative half a pixel, negative 0.5. And negative 0.5 is greater in that case, so we will only move up by that. So this is just a nice little way of making sure that we don't go too far. Okay. We now need to check our overlaps with our two chunks. So we're going to go ahead and put in an if here. And we're going to start with the top chunk. So we're going to go ahead and get the image of our top chunk. And we need to do a get pixel. So this color at right here, that in there. Now the X is just going to be the same as we're locked in on the screen for the X. So our X is never going to be more or less than 0 to 160. So we can go ahead and put that in for our value X. Now our Y we need to adjust because as we move downwards, the chunks are moving down with us. So we need to subtract the top of the chunk from our sprites chunk to our sprites top, to adjust ourselves so we're like transforming into the sprites coordinates as opposed to just world coordinates. So we're going to do value top minus top chunk top. Like that. And then we're going to go ahead and say, if this does not equal 0, then destroy and then we're going to do the exact same thing for the bottom chunk. So we'll put this inside of an else if because it already got destroyed on the first one if it, overlapped there. That in there. Okay. And change this to be bottom. And bottom. All right. So there's a problem with this that we'll get to in a second. Well, we can talk about it right now. Because we are only checking for the overlaps of this thing, if I go ahead and launch this upwards right now, that one's going to go until infinity. So we need to handle that too. We'll handle that later. But let's go over here right now. I'm going to launch this up, and there we go. We see it hitting up there and getting destroyed when it hits. So looking good. All right. Let's go ahead and handle that infinity. So inside of this else, we're going to go ahead and just say, if the top is, or rather, if the bottom is less than the top chunk's top, that means we have gone beyond the loaded geometry, and we're just going to destroy it. It does kind of get into interesting territory because we only have two chunks loaded at any time, So you can only, the maximum you can go up is like pretty limited.
Yeah.
But the things in Spelunky have a max distance also. So
I'm sure they do. I believe you on that one. I'm not sure.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and check if the bottom is less than the top chunk top. Then we're going to go ahead and destroy it. So we should see it get destroyed now when it goes like up a little bit. There we go. So this chunk ends right there. That's why you can see it getting destroyed. All right, cool. So there we go. What we need to do now is like drop the rope. So when we create our sprite, we need to store the coordinates of where it got launched from. So that is inside of our on A button pressed somewhere. Here it is. going to go ahead and store this as sprite data. Data as number. Oh. All right. I'm going to put this as launch x. And we're going to set it to this x here. Launch y. Set this to y. We don't actually need to store the x because we're not moving in the x direction. So toss that. All right. So launch our y. We do the overlap right here. We're going to go ahead and make a function. We're going to call this create rope. This is going to take in an x value. This is going to take in a start y. And an end y. And let's go ahead and call it. So we're going to go ahead and put in our create rope into these two function calls right here, not this bottom one, because this one just was lost. So we're going to set this to be, this first argument is x, which is just going to be equal to our x. The second argument is the start y. That's going to be our launch y. So let's go ahead and grab that right here. Make this our launch y. And then this last one is going to be the top of our sprite. Duplicate that right there. And now inside here, we can go ahead and create our rope. So we're going to do this in the stupidest way possible right now, just to test our code. We are going to make an image. So I think I already have a temp image. Yep. So we're going to make this width of 1, height of end y minus start y. We are going to fill this image with a color. What color, Joey?
I like. Oh, that is hard. Blue rope.
Blue rope. All right. And we're going to create a sprite. We're going to give it type food so that we don't worry about it. And we're going to give it this image. And we're going to set it to the right coordinates. So set the x to be equal to our x here. Set the top to be equal to our end y. Our end y is the higher up one. Set the x to x. Set the top to end y. All right, there we go. So let's test this out. So we can just launch first. Nothing happens because we made it so that it doesn't do the rope in that case. Here, I'm going to dig over a little bit. Come down here. All right, now we're going to launch upwards. Boop. Oh, crashed the game. All right, what do we do?
Oh.
Can we make an image too big? Invalid typed array length, -125. Okay, wait, did I mess up the parameter order? That sounds like I put in a negative value for the height. Just a guess. Okay, so we did end y minus start y. Oh, right, start y is the higher number because y goes down. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Launch. There's our rope. Launch. There we go. Too far for that one. So there's definitely a max distance you can do. You know? I think that's kind of a reasonable thing.
I mean, how does it work in this one? I guess in Spelunky, I think it is. It goes up the length of the rope, and if it doesn't find one, it just like finds a spot and pretends like it's on the wall. That's how I remember it, at least.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. It is something like that.
So it's like it goes up a screen length and a half, and then it just makes a little peg in the wall.
Yeah, maybe I need to play Spelunky. But okay, all right. So we still need to make these guys climbable. And probably also not implemented the way we implemented them right now. But, this actually works fine, so I don't really care that much. So we just want to make it so that we can climb these guys up by holding up, basically. So we're going to be doing something similar to our ladder code that we did the other day. Luckily, that ladder code wasn't super long and complicated, right, Joey?
No, it was the easiest thing in the world. It's just quick, nice quick thing.
Yep, it was not. We're being sarcastic. All right. So we're going to take a look at that. Next stream is on Friday, so we're probably going to be doing something fun instead. But also, reminder, we have a mini game jam going on right now. Find all the details about that on the forum. Another thing, we haven't said this before, but we are not going to have stream on Monday. So we are doing a team planning thing where we all have to be there in person. So, can't do live stream, unfortunately, because the stream computer is in my house. But we'll be back on Wednesday, I believe. So if we're not, I will update on the forum. I think we're
also just be busy doing in person. Nice.
Yeah, I think we'll be done with the stuff on Wednesday. I don't think there's any more planning stuff for that day, but we'll see. All right. I am Richard at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joe at J1 on the MakeCode forum.
And I forgot to say, the mini game jam is also wizardry themed. So, want to make a game about wizards? Do it. This is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to make a game for it. And yeah, all right. See you later, everybody.
See you.